So I'm Jen Kravitz, I'm the principal, Mary Hogan, and this is really a night that's designed for families. I know we had like an initial everybody do paperwork welcome night where kids came in and they were in one of the kindergarten rooms and played a little bit. That was like the first dip into Mary Hogan for the kids. There was a lot of information coming to people, and you didn't really talk with anybody but me. And the people that you'll be talking with the most next year are the kindergarten teachers, or Nurse Becky, or Jenna, who's our counselor. And so we wanted them to share kind of information that feels pertinent. So we put together a little thing. So that's current kindergartner, and here's our little agenda. If we have emails, we'll share this presentation. We can also stick it on the website, because one of the things that's on here is you'll see it's like a hyperlink, and the teachers will talk about this, but there's also just a visual that you can print out for your child if that's helpful to just like have at home. Sometimes like I might with my kids when they were little, I might laminate it and just give them a whiteboard eraser and like have them check it off if you feel like that's helpful and that's where your kids are, or you can just do a visual check. So we'll do a little welcome. We'll talk about whole school information, a day in kindergarten, what your child should bring, homeschool communication, because it does look really different than preschool, but also help your child get ready this summer. The counseling team, Nurse Becky is going to tag on. She's not part of the counseling team, but she really, like unofficially, she is. Lots of kids go to her for advice, but she's also great and really approachable. And then also Mesa, our parent teacher organization, is going to share information also. Okay. Okay. Ooh. So Mary Hogan, our day goes from about 8 a.m. to about 3 p.m. We're refining arrival and dismissal time, so we'll communicate that later in the summer if there's any updates, but basically the arrival time is 8, dismissal is at 2:55. You've gotten a lot of forms already. Archie, if you want to play with friends, there are some in the room right next door, right? Yeah, the first one on the left. If you want, they can come sit in the hot room. That's fine too. So there are forms that you all got already. We do need the forms back. If you need them, they're available on the ACSD website. You can also email this anybody or call anybody in the office or stop in Mary Hogan at any point. Jill LaBerge is our registrar, so she's the one who will get all of the information, put it into our student information system, make sure everything's updated, and start a file. So the information in the forms is important because then it means that we have your contact information and it's accurate, and we'll make sure that you get information along the way throughout the summer. And I communicate weekly with family newsletters. Teachers communicate weekly with a little like updates about what's happening in the classroom. There's an Instagram feed, but and then there's always like if you have questions, you should reach out to the pertinent person, right? If it's mostly if it's like a day-to-day question, the classroom teacher is the person. Food service and meals, you can get a pretty good sense of our meals if you look on the website, on the district website right now. It has the ACSD or Mary Hogan has the menu for the month. Our food is really, really good. There's breakfast every day. Kids get it as they come in, or in kindergarten it's often in their classrooms, ready to go for them. And lunch is every day in the cafeteria. They can bring home lunch or have school lunch. There's always an alternative. So like some butter and jelly, or ham and cheese, or turkey and cheese. And so that will be on the menu also. And because because of the universal meals bill that the legislature passed last year, all the meals are free. We do strongly encourage you to fill out at the beginning of the year. You'll get a free and reduced lunch form. We encourage all families to fill that out, even if you don't think you'll qualify, because it brings in about $300,000 to $400,000 to our school based on the rates of people who qualify for free and reduced meals, and you just never know. And so even if one household doesn't qualify, if your child has 2 houses and the other house does qualify, then your kid qualifies. So it's not going to give you a free or reduced meal necessarily, but it does help the school tremendously. And those positions are like reading and math interventionists, a behavior specialist, and also some like family gathering and family nights. So they really do help both students and the community. Health info. Becky, do you want to share some health info? You'll get annual forms at the beginning of the year, but yeah.
I don't have a whole lot to say. I'm the nurse. I'm there full time. I enjoy seeing the kids just say hello, but I see them when they get hurt, when they get sick, and I do my best to communicate as needed throughout the day.
Becky, to come on up here so that
questions.
Because we are live filming it, so then the people on the video can see your face. Come on down, I'll stand next to you. Well, they need to see you. Come on.
Another good speaker. Okay. I was just saying, I think I enjoy seeing the kids. I enjoy the new ones that come through and getting to know them through the 6 years that they're at Mary Hogan. If you have any questions, just email me, call me. I'm pretty reachable and available.
And what are the parameters around coming to school? Are fever-free for 24 hours.
Yep, no diarrhea, no vomiting for 24 hours. If there's any like gray area, just give me a call, we'll work through it. As far as COVID goes, I think that's all kind of changing next year, so you have to look out for that.
Yeah, we'll update you as we go. Probably similar to if your child has preschool now, it's probably pretty similar. There are amazing things that happen in Mary Hogan. I see them every day. I think these guys see them every day. They're just these beautiful moments. And so I try and capture them and share them in the newsletter and on Instagram. You can always opt out of your child being in photos. That's fine. I don't use any names on anything unless it's like winning an award or something like that and you would know. I do think it's great to see what's happening in your kids' classroom. So this is a picture of a 100-day parade, which is a tradition in kindergarten, and kids coming down through C Wing in the school, and everybody cheers them on, and the whole day is about like the number 100. So I guess just be on the lookout for that. And one of the amazing things that's coming up next Thursday is our field day, and that's put on by Mesa. And it really relies on parent volunteers to come and staff some stations. So we've got, there's a dance station, there's like obstacles last year.
There's going to be like a water balloon station this year, which will be new, a skate park station.
So they kind of get to go around in an organized way to different stations that feel really exciting. It feels like a wonderful evening or a wonderful day. But that is because of parent volunteers. We really encourage, like, even if you don't have a lot of time regularly, if you fill out I'll link to it, there's a form, you can be on our list and get approved to be a volunteer. And that volunteer can be a supervised volunteer, which means like you don't have kids by yourself, or you can be an unsupervised volunteer, which means that you don't have to have a staff personnel with you. It does mean that you need to do background fingerprinting to keep everybody's kids safe. So we always encourage parents to do that. And once you do it once, if you sign up each year, you are set until they're seniors in high school. So you don't have to do the paperwork more than once. Although if you do forget to re-up each year, you have to there's a gap. So.
A quick note is that you can be reimbursed for your fee that you pay for the fingerprinting for the district.
So we try and make it free, but you do have to pay upfront for the fingerprinting, but we will always reimburse. Okay. All right. The kindergarten teacher all-stars. Come on down. Yes.
This is tradition.
Yeah.
Okay, who's going first?
You are. think.
Okay.
Megan Sears, that's you.
Great. Hi, I'm Megan Sears, and I'm gonna talk about a day in kindergarten. And I'll just start with a caveat that we have the same general schedule structure, but finer nuances do differ just slightly within our classrooms. But as Jen mentioned, arrival is at 8 o'clock, and first thing in the morning in our rooms, you can find us engaging in some sort of choice time or play, and also offering the option for students to have snack. It can be from home, or they can choose the breakfast option that's offered here at school. Then shortly after that, we all come together for a morning meeting, which is part of our responsive classroom framework that we practice within ACSD. And at that time, we're engaging in community building activities, getting to know each other, and going through some routines, some academic routines with our calendar and things like that. And then after that, we might move into another play session or an outdoor time. And then that takes us to the mid-morning, which then can launch us into our academic time. And in kindergarten, we have a mixture of whole group academic work and small group academic work. And then we'll go to get ready for lunch just shortly before 11, and we eat lunch in the cafeteria. Lunch runs from 11 to 11:25. After lunch, we all go out to the playground and have recess, all 4 classes together. And all 4 classes are together eating in the cafeteria as well. After recess, we come in and each classroom has a whole group read aloud and then some sort of quiet time. So we don't expect kids to nap here in kindergarten, but we do offer kind of quiet rest as an option. The expectation certainly isn't that they fall asleep, but quiet time in our rooms can generally look like engaging with puzzles, looking quietly at books, what am I forgetting? Some sort of, quiet manipulative, so some calming but yet stimulating activity that helps them get ready for the afternoon. After our quiet time, we have our specials. So our specials are PE, music, art, and library. So those schedules differ between the 4 of us as in terms of what day you have which thing. And then after that, we have another chunk of academic time. Again, could be whole group, could be small group. Can also be play-based as well. And then in the afternoon, we have another snack. Then end our day outside on the playground. So there's a lot of our days are packed, and the first few weeks are tiring and exhausting as we're building that routine. But we strive to really incorporate a lot of play, a lot of outdoor time, while also weaving the academics that we provide. Does anybody have any questions?
Thanks, Megan.
Art, music,
Library
and PE. So what is the 5th day?
We have PE 2 days a week.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. That's a great question. 4 is not 5. There's 5 days of the week.
Yes.
I'm Franny Gould, and I'm going to talk about the things that your child needs to bring to kindergarten. That visual is great. I have never seen it, and it would be
this year.
Yeah, and I have a kindergartner this year, and I have remembered to pack him snack 40% of the year. So that is a great tool. So the first thing that's really important to bring is a backpack. Your child might already have a backpack. They need a big backpack, like bigger than you think. I'm going to list all of the things that go into the backpack, but also like things come home. All of the drawings they've made, all of the drawings their friends have made for them, like rocks, like whatever they want to put in their backpack at the end of the day, we want to make it really easy for them to pack that up. So bigger is better, even if it looks a little ridiculous on the first day of school, like half the size of the child. They need a water bottle every day, really important to send it each day with a label with their name on it. They should have sneakers, they should be wearing sneakers or have sneakers packed to change into, regardless of whether or not it's a PE day. They should always just have sneakers, it's much more comfortable. A snack is important every day. We usually have 2 options for a little snack in the morning and the afternoon. So it's just something that will sustain them, sort of like get them through to the next meal. A change of clothes. Accidents happen. Also, like things just, all kinds of accidents happen. So a change of clothes is good. We are all totally fine with sending that change of clothes at the beginning of the year and then leaving them in their cubbies. A couple of sets of tops and bottoms, underpants, and socks. And really every single article of clothing should have their name on it, including like each sock if you care deeply about the socks. In the winter, obviously they'll need a whole new set of things. We'll be in touch about what they need in the winter and how to keep track of all of that stuff. And then the last thing is their red folder. It'll be red again, yes. The red communication folder. Dana will talk a little bit more about the folders. And then just like quickly, things not to bring to school are like toys and stuffed animals from home. We have all of those things, lots of toys, lots of stuffed animals. I think there's space and flexibility for books to be brought from home, but generally toys from home should stay at home. Any questions about that?
Great. I'm Dana Bith. I'm talking about home to school communication. Franny talked a little bit about the red folders. All of us will issue your child a red folder that goes home on Fridays. Inside of that is any important papers like school menus for lunch and breakfast, any other papers from the school that need to go home, as well as we try to do a weekly newsletter, and in the newsletter it talks about things that we've done during the week, questions that you can ask your child so that you can engage with them, because most of the time they're going to come home and say, I don't know what I did today, or I loved recess, and that's what you'll hear about. So ways to engage with your child, and then we have friendly reminders of upcoming dates. Sometimes we have early release days once a month, and any other changes to schedule, or maybe any field trips, or sometimes we need to remind you like, hey, it's getting colder out, this is when it's a good time to start thinking about packing extra clothes. So stay tuned for that in the red take-home folder. You will certainly have questions for us, particularly at the start of the school year, so it's really helpful to make sure that the office has an up-to-date email address, and if you want your spouse's email address, make sure that the office has that too. That's one of the first things that we do is when we know who we have for our students, we make a folder with our parents' email addresses, because we will include you on anything that we don't happen to tell you about in the weekly newsletter. You can email us anytime you have a question. If it's a really pressing question that needs to get answered that day, you should call Lori or Jill in the main office. An example of something that's pressing is you might have a different dismissal plan for the end of the day. We don't really get very much free time to check our email during the day until the evening, but we will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours, but that pressing change should just get called into the office. When you know ahead of time what the dismissal change is, you'll be issued these orange or yellow notepads too. So anytime you have a dismissal change that's out of the ordinary that you already know ahead of time, you can send this in with your child in the morning, and that gives us a heads up and saves you a step of emailing us. But if you just want to email or call, that's also okay. Jen sends out a weekly newsletter as well, and there's lots of important information in that, and that's through your email as well. And am I forgetting anything? I think that's good. Questions about communication? Great.
Hi everybody, I'm Julie Shondu, and I'm just going to chat about some things you can do this summer to help your kiddo get ready for kindergarten as you're enjoying the nice weather and doing all sorts of fun things together. Be thinking about being chatty and having conversations, whether you're at the grocery store, the park, or wherever you might be. You know, your back and forth conversations are important in language building and really important for learning in school as well. Read aloud every day to your kiddos. Your child learns so much, builds literacy skills as they're coming to us, and it builds that connection, of course, too. Practice all those independent skills, right? Bathroom skills, dressing, opening items in their lunchbox, separating from the caregivers, knowing their full name, following two-step directions, shoes and boots that they can manage on their own. One of the biggest things, I think, is being able to come and be as independent as they possibly can to add on to their successes as they go through the year. This is one of my favorites. Be a kindergarten cheerleader. Play kindergarten at home, go to the playground, think of a fun way to say goodbye and hello. like a secret handshake that you do for school. Just be enthusiastic about kindergarten. Your child's going to pick up on your excitement, and it'll spread across to them as they come to us as well. Play and learn together, of course, games, imaginative play, songs and chants, scavenger hunts, things to build into the summer that are fun together. Experiences are so important, building background knowledge and vocabulary, like if you're at the library or hikes or at the lake or at the farmer's market. All of those experiences are building background knowledge, and it's so important for beginning readers. Be active and practice all those fine motor activities too, cutting, drawing lines, zipping, all those fine motor things to build their finger muscles. Keep up those play dates, so they're practicing taking turns, sharing, listening and cooperating, helping them learn what's acceptable behavior. And don't forget about sleep. About a month before school starts, start that working towards that back to school schedule with bedtime and wake up. Keeping in your mind that 5-year-olds need like 11 to 12 hours of sleep per day. And we can tell when we've got a tired kiddo that just needs to catch up on some sleep. So keep that as a main priority throughout the year for sure. As Megan said, we are busy from 8 to 3. So thinking about a restful kiddo heading off to school is really important. That's it. Yes?
Do you know when the play group is going to be happening this summer, like the day or?
I do.
Okay.
Jen does.
All right.
Okay.
Jenna, you're up.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenna Hogan. I'm one of 2 school counselors that work here at Mary Hogan School. I'm just going to briefly describe my role as well as the student supports team and how they are here to support students here at Mary Hogan School. So the student support team is made up of 2 school counselors. We also have 2 school-based clinicians. Those are service or contract through the counseling services of Addison County. We also have 2 behavioral interventionists and a responsive service coordinator. What's not up here though is also our student support person, which is Nurse Becky, as well as our Principal Kravitz and Assistant Principal McKinney. So for school counseling services, this image here is really helpful in kind of thinking about what the role is of a school counselor and what we do. The bottom level is called Tier 1, it's universal support. So we go into every single class and teach guidance lessons. Our guidance lessons range from so many different topics of identifying feelings, learning how to appropriately express your feelings and manage them. We also teach skills in bullying prevention. We teach skills also around child protection unit, which is helpful for teaching kids skills and how they can be safe within our community and in our school. And we also teach skills around problem solving, so conflict management. So we definitely see a lot of that in classrooms sometimes, especially this time of year when they've been together all school year. So that's something we do for universal supports throughout the whole school. We also, school counselors are also available for all kids for check-ins. You know, we all have our ups and downs in life, and sometimes for kiddos it can really have an impact on their school days. They might need to see someone and check in with them, so me and the other school counselor are there for that. It's a little different than our school-based clinicians because they're part of CSAC, so they're contracted through CSAC, so you have to like refer them and they're more long-term counseling supports, whereas school counselors are more short-term and it can just be a check-in, also individual counseling supports as well. So for Tier 2, that's more targeted, and sometimes we have referrals for kiddos who might need to see a school counselor for about 6 to 8 weeks or a couple months. And that has to do with if they're having difficulty in the classroom or anything that's happening outside of play that's having an impact on them in the school day. And then for the Tier 3, that's more targeted supports, and that's for like referring kids out of school to see a counselor outside of school, or for even seeing a school-based clinician in our school system. It depends on how much of an effect it's having on their school day, whatever the concern is. Something I also didn't mention was we also do small groups. So small groups are more like a Tier 3 or Tier 2 level supports. So if a kid's needing help with some sort of skill building, like making friends, keeping friends, or with emotion regulation, then we would sometimes offer like a small group from them in the school year. Does anyone have any questions? And parents can always refer to, and also teachers refer students, depending on what they're seeing in the classroom. And then if you as a parent know that your child is going through something like the death of a dog or a loved one or family separation or moving, any of those types of things, you know, we all have our ups and downs in our life. And if you know that your child is going through like a low point, just know that you can always contact us. Also, if you have any concerns around, you know, your child starting kindergarten off and feeling a little concerned about how them going to kindergarten and how anxious they might be or stressed about it, you can always contact us as well. I brought in also some school counseling brochures. They're on the back table if you want to have a look more about what school counselors do. It also has our contact information on it as well. Okay, thanks.
Mesa, come on down.
Hi everybody. I'm Leanne Lucier. I'm a parent on the Mesa.
And Alicia Butler.
And Alicia has an incoming kindergartner. I have a kindergartner this year, and he's in Mrs. Sears' class. I have a handout, and I'm going to pass it around so you guys can all take it. It has all the information that I'm going to share with you. So you guys are all poised. I will start over here. So MESA stands for Middlebury Elementary School Association, and that's Mary Hogan's, I'll make sure you guys can see it. That's like our version of the Parent-Teacher Association. So we're really the homeschool connection group. And so the people listed at the top are on the executive board, and we meet once a month to get ready for another executive or the business meeting that happens in the library once a month, and that's open to everybody. And that's why we are here. We want to encourage participation from you all. So we meet every third Thursday of the month in the library here. At 6:30, we start with a round table, which usually has a topic from the principal. So that ranges from things like talking about any kind of school changes to, you know, how are we responding to a certain situation, to progress reports, anything that might be a topic, and it changes every month. So that's kind of like the general setup, but we do a lot of other things.
And all of our meetings are open to the public. We love more people to stop by. Anybody that's at the meeting is a voting member. So even if you're not on the board and you can come to one meeting, your vote counts just as much as our vote counts.
We've been trying to do a lot of remote options to make it more flexible for people that can't come in person. And just because you come one month doesn't mean you have to come next month. Like, maybe you can't make it, that's fine. But if you can't make it to the meetings, there's a lot of other things that you can do. So let me just break down kind of some of the things that we do for the school. So we hold a lot of different events throughout the year. There's always a free skating event in the winter. We help with the annual readathon, which is a big fundraiser, but within that month of time, it's usually it's been February this year. There's a lot of other things that go along with that. So there's author visits and character dress-up day and free book giveaways, and literacy night is try to embed that in that month, and we have a book fair, and so that's like a really big thing for the school, and we love any and all help in that. So if you want to just help with one event, you don't mean you have to help with them all, right? Or some of the other events that we did that are new this year, we just did a mini golf event for free. Like a lot of these, we try to strive for like a free event a month, or at least one in the fall and one in the spring. That's just community building, so people can come in and engage with other parents and students. We did a cookies and canvas, which is an elementary version of paint and sip, and that was our first one this year. It went really well. And then at the end of the year, we're going to host a dance party for everybody. And then we're also getting ready right now for our field day, which is a nice celebration at the end of the year with a barbecue and a cookout. So lots of free events. And then Jen, if you can go to the next, I can go to the next slide. Okay, so these are the different kind of events that I just mentioned. And if you're interested in volunteering, for instance, like the field day event, if you want to go and run a station, like that's, an hour out of the day, or maybe longer. But some of these other ones might just be like an hour, or once a month.
In Readathon, we have things as small as like mailing letters to businesses asking for donations, or sending thank you cards to people who make a grand donation. So they could be really small, or you could take on a whole big task.
And so some of those fundraising events provide things like this is the biggest thing that the money goes to is class grants. So every class gets a certain amount of money. And this year, I think it was $30 a student. It was a pretty big chunk. And so certain grades are doing amazing things with that. So some of the field trips they're going on are Shelburne Farms. They go to Echo. They've in the past gone to Granbury and Button Bay State Parks, the Monshire, the Flynn. The kindergarten is getting ready to go to Robert Frost Interpretive Trails, the Hart Brothers Farm, the Marquee Movie Theater, Crown Point. Like, we do tons of field trips with this money. We also, some of the grant money is used to put towards, the grades used them really well this year. We did learning kits. The first grade is doing themed days, like ABC, for the last 26 days of the year.
Classes going to the movie theater in town.
They're hiring a magician, and Miss Kay, who's the music teacher here, is hiring an accompanist, somebody like come and help with some of the music presentations at the end. They've had yoga, lots of end of year celebrations. So just the purpose is to provide enrichment opportunities for the kids here, to provide community building and engagement, and lots of connection with the parents with the school. We also do school supplies, project materials, STEM materials. We provide all the incoming kindergartners with a Hawk shirt so that we can have some spirit wear. And then we do a lot of teacher appreciation events. So we have such a hardworking staff at Mary Hogan, and we try to show our appreciation all the time. And although there is one teacher appreciation day at the end, we try to honor throughout the year so that people can feel the love all throughout. So we'll do monthly events like raffles or giveaways, and we'll fill up big buckets of school supplies, and the teachers can come in and just replenish their stock. We'll do, at the end of the year, one big teacher luncheon that we just did recently. So you can always donate donate your either time or supplies. We also have Venmo and PayPal accounts, so people that just don't have a lot of time, your schedules are crazy, but you still want to contribute, you can contribute any range of amounts.
We're a nonprofit, so it's also a tax write-off.
Yeah. So there's lots of different ways to get involved, and so I mentioned the meetings are one way that you can come. The other way that you'll know about when to help out if you want to get involved, Jen sends out a weekly newsletter, and we always have a little Mesa section in it, and it tells what's the upcoming events for the year, and if there's certain links for sign up here to donate supplies, or sign up here for money, here's our PayPal, give us money. You can do that right in the weekly emails, and then during busier times of the year, we're the end of year right now, we might have a lot of things going on, we might send out a Mesa specific email for you, and you might get so those are ways that you could just keep out on the lookout for opportunities, and pick away at what you can do, and when you can do it, great, and if not, we get it, you're busy. And so all of the information that I gave you is on here, so take this home. All of our information, contact information is on here. If there's something specific that you're really dying to get involved from day one, email us. Our email is right up there, mesa@acsdvt.org, and you can just say, I'm interested in volunteering, how can I get involved, and we'll
Or
sign
just
you
show
right
up
up.
at a meeting. That's always.
I was gonna say, yeah, you don't need to be invited, just show up, so.
And the meetings are in the library,
Yeah.
because sometimes people have brought kids for some parts of it.
Yeah.
And you can come for some.
So
or-
flexible, you can
right,
leave
so-
early if you needed to, come a little late if you need to, it's pretty flexible, so. Does anyone have any questions about some of the things we do, or our purpose, or how to get involved?
Most of our money comes from the readathon, so that'll be a real big push when that comes out. Each kid will get a reading log that's sent home every week. But this year we added in the Lake Monsters fundraiser, so we're partnering with the Lake Monsters, and we also did UVM hockey, which has been pretty great.
We get a portion of the proceeds from the
Yeah.
tickets sold. And we partnered with a local artist, Mike Kin, that did the mural outside, and he is able to put patches or part of the mural on what we've done in the past, we have hats. as a fundraiser. We did the Cookies and Canvas was a new fundraiser. So we're always looking for like new and creative ways. And we've had a couple parents that initiated these new fundraisers this year. So like Megan Deshot was the one that spearheaded the Cookies and Canvas. It was something she really wanted to do and she made it happen. So if you have ideas or like you've heard in other communities or schools that they're doing things and you're like, I want to see that here, like let us know. We'll try to figure it out. We're always open to new fundraising opportunities.
And one more thing that makes us taking on is now we're going to be sponsoring all the 5th grade promotion supplies. So each year our 5th grade class graduates and they get a yearbook. And in the past, families have had to kind of like come together to come up with the cost for all of those things. But this year and then going forward makes us going to fund that so everyone can leave with the same opportunity.
And celebrate their time at Mary Hogan. So, all right, thank you guys so much.
All right. So this was the playgroup question. Here we are. We're in the transition timeline. So we've done the first two kind of transition events. So Tuesdays this summer from the 25th of June to the 13th of August, we're going to have a weekly playgroup.
We're laughing.
Picture. I know, I thought it was great. I went back, this is from September, by the way, of this past year. So
They still dress up like that though.
yeah. So it was fabulous. So we'll have a weekly summer playgroup for incoming Mary Hogan. It's just for Mary Hogan incoming kindergarten students. So with the hope that like your kids get to meet the cohort, right? You get to meet some kids that they may not already know. When my kids are both here in 4th and 5th grade. When they came in, they were at an in-home childcare, and so they literally knew no one. So this would have been really helpful for them. So if you're in that situation, or even if they're like at Mary Johnson and have lots of peers, they'll have this opportunity to meet new kids. In early August, I'll send a welcome back letter. In mid to late August is when the bus routes come out. Food service information, free and reduced lunch meal applications, I think, are going to be sent out then. And there will be a visit to the classrooms, usually during our in-service time, like, hey, you can come visit during these times. Then, on August 26th to 28th, the 26th is our first day of school. And the 26th to 28th, your kids are going to come like a normal day of school, and it's a kinder camp. So they'll be with different kindergarten teachers. They might be, you know how they came in before and they were with like Julie Shondu. That Julie is not their teacher. She was just one of the teachers that they met, right? And so they'll have this chance to be with different groups, with different teachers. And these are required days of school. These aren't like optional days of school. Your kid should come. Because it will help us know them so that what the teachers will be doing, this is a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, that we'll be working on crafting class lists in a way that's really thoughtful, because we've spent some time with your kids in with different teachers in different arrangements, so that we can figure out the best possible combination. And I would say that like we always strive for that, and what we were finding is that we would have a kinder camp that was for a half a day, and it was really hard to know your kid. Like we just didn't know them very well, and so we would always do our best with your input and with the input of their preschool teacher. And sometimes things change over the summer. So it's in August, so we'll have 3 days of kinder camp. They'll have 2 days off, which their bodies will need. They don't want to start with a 5-day week. It's a lot. So they'll have a 3-day week. They'll find out who their teacher is on the 30th. I'll let people know. I'm going to email you the placement, like the letters, because if I mailed them, you wouldn't get them in time. So I'm going to email you. So this is a thing, like you've heard a lot, like email is really important within our school system. And I know that there are some people who are like, I just don't check my email. And I'm like, okay, well, like it's going to make it really hard. Like you're going to miss a lot of information. You don't always even need to respond. I will say, like, I get emails from my children's teachers, and I don't always read them like the moment they come out. Sometimes it's like Wednesday of the next week, but I still know, right? It just depends. Like we are all busy. So the 30th, I'll email you the letters, and then September 3rd, which is the Tuesday after Labor Day, they'll come in, and that will be their first official day of kindergarten with their class, with their teacher. And so that's kind of the schedule. Alicia?
Just a question. When you email us which teacher we get, will we also know who's in the class?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. you will say, you have Franny, and Franny's class is this, okay? And what we'll also do is, if you don't want, we do occasionally have, and this is totally fine, parents who don't want their emails listed like for the whole grade directory, or they don't want their phone numbers or address, but we do at least want to provide you the whole grade directory, even if they're not in your child's class. They make friends on the playground, and they're 5, so that it's really hard for them to be like, hey, I want to have a play date, let's have a play date, and then you're like, I don't know how to get in touch with that kid's family, right? So we just want to make sure everybody has everybody's contact information. So yes, I will make sure that you have who the teacher is and who the class is. Okay? Yeah?
Was there a bus for the kinder camp or no?
There will be, yes,
Okay.
because this is the first day of school. There will be, like, the bus runs normally. It's like the regular first day of school, and that's why we did it. So there was a bus. Good, great question. Any other questions? Yeah.
How many kids per class are you expecting for the summer year?
Meg
Yes.
is, if you haven't met Meg, she's a preschool coordinator, a UPK coordinator, and so she has these in her head better than I do, because I see them like every couple weeks, but a lot of things happen in between.
It's looking like about 12 kids per classroom right now.
12, and new kids always move in over the summer, and sometimes people move out, and so I would say a fair number is 12 to 14, 12 to 15, which feels a lot less than this current year, which has
71.
Yeah, 71 students in it, so, which is our largest class. Although I will say our 4th grade also has 68, so they're pretty close. So, but 71 kindergartners is a lot in one building. It's more than most of the outlying schools combined, like for the whole students. So that's that.
Jen, you mentioned the question about the bus making thing.
Yeah.
That there's a rule about dropping kids off, kindergartners off the bus at home.
Yeah, so when a kindergartner gets off the bus, dropped off at the end of the day, an adult or a sibling 3rd grade and higher has to be with them. So, this came up the other day, where the parent said, I was on the porch, didn't you see me? And the bus driver was like, no, you weren't at the bus stop, so I couldn't let your kid off. And so they won't let a kid off if they don't see you, generally speaking, through 2nd grade. And so often I'll get a call from dispatch, and they'll say, Kaiser Remsen didn't have anyone there to pick her up. She's still on the bus. And so then I call and I scramble and I kind of call you or your emergency contacts. And then we figure out, like, are you going to meet the bus somewhere along the way or meet them back at school? It's like not a huge deal, but it is a thing. The other thing I would say is, like, if you are able to find emergency contacts who live here, it is much more helpful than when you put, like, your emergency contact is your, like, the grandparent who lives in Connecticut. Because when there's an emergency, we need somebody who can, like, come, and not sometimes those people can, like, get in touch with you in different ways, but it seems tricky. Like, I would say that is sometimes tricky, and sometimes you don't know people, right? But just, like, thinking about that over time is a way to, like, build community and really get to know people who, like, hey, our kids are in the same class, I'll be your emergency contact if you're my emergency contact, and we'll just trade, right? Like, as you get to know people. Other questions?
Yeah, I'm just about the bus thing, because
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this at all, and it just sounded odd to me that you put a 5-year-old on the bus.
Yeah, it seems funny, doesn't it?
Sorry.
They always sit on the front of the bus. The bus drivers are pretty awesome. I would say that hasn't always been true, but it is now, which is great. So if you go to the ACSD website, and then you go to, like, Middlebury has choose pages, so you just kind of, like, you can estimate roughly where you live. So if you lived on Painter Road, you would know somewhere between 7:20, can't really see this, but, like, the bus is in the morning, it turns right on Painter Road at 7:17, and left on Painter Road at 7:22, so that's, like, roughly your time. And the bus times will change between now and then, because your kids are coming to school, and we want to make sure that the bus company knows, like, you may be a stop. And it doesn't mean, like, you can decide, a lot of families do decide, like, the first day or the first week, I'm going to drop my kid off, and then they're going to ride the bus. Like, you don't have to, like, start the first day and have them have to ride to get picked up. If you've been driving them and dropping them off for, like, a month, and then you want to make a change, that's no problem. If you contact the office, we'll just make sure the bus company knows. Okay? And I would hope, during kinder camp, we have to talk more about it, that, like, we could get a bus and they could, like, practice getting on the bus and practice getting off. So that feels like a skill I don't want to assume all kindergartners have. And there are these areas within town where you have to walk, right? So, like, I live on South Street, my kids have to walk. That's just kind of the way it is. And, yeah. Meg, you had a question?
No, you answered it. I was gonna tell people that they could estimate the bus route.
Yeah, I
based
just
on
figured
this
I'd
year's
just pull it
schedule.
up. The other thing is, like, here's the way to find the menus, is, like, under school meals.
And breakfast and lunch is free for all kids.
I said that, you missed it.
Oh, I missed it, sorry.
No, it's okay. So this is our May menu. So tomorrow is Miss Neal's chicken.
Barbecue chicken.
Barbecue chicken, very popular.
We send a paper copy home.
And we send a paper copy home. My child doesn't always remember to get it out of her backpack, which is also partially my fault, but, you know, she's in 4th and 5th grade, so, like, but there, like, so your kids will develop days that they really like. Right now there's pizza every Friday. The student council worked really hard with the food service this year to make sure that they alternate and don't always have pizza every Friday. They felt like they just wanted something different some Fridays, like every other Friday. So they added that in next year. But yeah, so, and I would say, like, I routinely, like, I had this popcorn chicken bowl. It was delicious. So, yes.
So if we have a child with allergies, do they need to know what not to take, or will they have someone help
Yeah,
them?
so the first thing would be making sure Becky knows the allergies. And Becky will talk with Steve in food service, and depending on what the allergy is, it will depend on, like, how we support them. So there's a student here who has multiple food allergies, that, like, gluten and eggs and, like, a whole host of things. And so if that were to be the case for your child, they would probably have something, like, they would be directed, like, oh, you're you know, he's here, this is where his meal is. If it's just like milk, and a milk allergy, that's a little different, and that might not be as directed, right? So it kind of, like, there's a wide range. Does that help? Becky can also answer all your questions.
Come to me and we can figure out what
works. But I would say that generally speaking, the food service is super responsive as long as it's an allergy as opposed to a preference. And you'll see there's almost always, like, so this is a burger bar, there's always homemade bean burgers, like, so there's always a vegetarian option if your child is vegetarian, or, like, my kids aren't vegetarian, but they choose the bean burger. So,
there's a salad bar.
And there's a salad bar. And at the beginning of the year, the salad bar is, to be honest, like, the salad bar is tricky for kindergartners, right? Like, navigating all the choices. I don't know why this is not working, but it's okay.
We kind of station ourselves there, help out.
Yeah.
Just a lot of tongue work, a lot of practice with tongue.
There's a lot of fine motor work that's, like, in the natural environment. That's really meaningful work, right? So, and they figure out pretty quickly, like, what they want and what they like, and how to take the right amount, and they can always get seconds at the salad bar, and
they try a lot of new things.
They do try a lot of new things. So, yeah. My favorite thing on the salad bar is, like, the pickled radishes. They're delicious. So, other questions?
I want to second the extra clothes. Please send extra clothes.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, and your kids grow during kindergarten, so I know you guys said bring them in and leave them the first day, but, like, you may want to check in partway through the year, because their pants that fit them in the fall may not fit them in the winter, right? So, yeah, extra clothes. 2nd graders really wanted extra clothes today. They were out in the woods, and it was really muddy, and they came back, and there were some who just had were very muddy by the end of the day. So, and that was okay. And there were others who were not, but mostly they were muddy. So, yeah. All right. Thank you for coming and sitting with me in this very hot room. I hope that there's a weather change soon, and that if you have any questions, I'll be around. We'll be around for a little bit.